Imagine this. Eric Swalwell, the same guy who cozied up to a Chinese spy and still thinks he belongs anywhere near national security, is parading around like he's the king of truth tellers. This is the man who sold America the Russia hoax with a straight face, smearing Trump as a Kremlin puppet while the entire narrative collapsed under its own lies. Add in the cheap political stunts, those viral sit-in selfies, the doctored evidence and terror probes, and you've got a career built on theater, not truth. And now, Swalwell's taking his hypocrisy to terrifying new heights. He is openly threatening that if Democrats control the House in 2026, they will unleash the full power of Congress to target and punish Trump supporters, not just his allies, but private citizens. Everyday Americans, you, me, anyone who dares to stand with the president. This isn't politics anymore. It's intimidation. Listen to this chilling warning.
We will bring oversight, accountability. We will subpoena the Department of Justice, but also private actors who have done these drug deals with the administration, college campuses, entertainment companies, law firms. And so accountability is coming. And so one, it's all coming out. Two, I hope that deters people from doing more of these deals, these one-offs with the president.
Swalwell's not just targeting Trump. He is coming for anyone who stands with him. This isn't oversight, it is a vendetta in the making. And if this doesn't rally every red-blooded American to the polls in 2026, I don't know what will. I mean, the deep state's playbook is laid bare, and Swalwell, he is just the opening act. Now shift gears to Adam Schiff, who's seething because President Trump's raking in millions. Where's the money coming from, you ask? I'll let Mr. Schiff tell you.
He's getting $16 million from CBS over a bogus lawsuit. He's getting $12 million from ABC over another bogus lawsuit. He's getting a third Air Force One from the Gutteries. So while people on the ground are still trying to pay their rent and figure out how they're going to pay for those ever more expensive groceries, I guess the president would say they should take solace in the fact that he now has a third Air Force One. He has a palace in the sky courtesy of Gutter. That's not helping anyone.
How dare Trump win those lawsuits and rebuild after Democrats tried to strip him bare in New York? Schiff's not just scared, he's taunting the very side investigating him. Let's see how that one plays out. And speaking of deep state darlings, James Comey, who's already been indicted, he gets a scathing review from an unlikely source. Geraldo Rivera, no fan of Trump these days. Watch this.
I was close to Trump in 2017 and 2018. Mm-hmm. We hated Comey in the Trump camp. He gave no good advice to the president. He stiffed him whenever he could. He was rude to the president. I really didn't like him and didn't trust him at all. I mean, I'm talking from a very personal point of view. And I thought that he tortured the president. And then with the Russia collusion baloney, and that's the kindest pejorative I could use, Comey helped he was one of the architects of the biggest waste of time.
Even Geraldo can't stand Comey, a self-righteous figure who lectures on ethics while his actions scream hypocrisy. But Chuck Schumer, even the deep state apologist, rushes to Comey's defense.
I have no faith in Donald Trump's judicial system. He has turned this judicial system to be his own political fighter, do what he wants politically, so that he tells them to go after people he doesn't like. He tells them to exonerate people that he likes. So many people are getting pardoned and this and that. He has turned this Justice Department into his own political watchdog. It's horrible. No president has done this. This is what autocrats do. This is when Trump says he wants to be king to do it. And so when he says he doesn't like Comey, look what happened there, Kristen.
If Schumer thinks Trump's going after political enemies, where's the follow-up question about New York AG Letitia James campaigning on getting Trump? See, mainstream media won't ask those questions, but we will. And about those pardons, let's not forget when Kamala Harris and other Democrats bailed out rioters. Who's the real political watchdog here? Now, while the Democrats continue to waste their energy fighting against Trump, the president is busy delivering results.
This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to the death and destruction that we've seen for so many years, decades, even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region.
President Trump is uniting the world and has put more effort into bringing peace than any other president before him. Here's what his proposal includes.
If accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours. So the hostages are coming back, and it means the immediate end to the war itself, not just Gaza. It's the war itself. Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it. To demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and that's a good thing. And destroy all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels, weapons of production facilities.
The plan also includes training local police forces in Gaza, and then there's a phased withdrawal of Israeli forces. Phase being the operative word here, unlike Biden's botch Afghanistan exit that left Americans behind. Now, to ensure flawless execution, Trump has established the Board of Peace for the Middle East. And guess who they tapped to chair it?
The Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he showed his appreciation for the president and for his soldiers who have all helped make today possible.
I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel. We would not have achieved this turning point without the courage and sacrifice of our incredibly brave soldiers. They fight like lions to defend the people of Israel, and they serve on the front line in the war between civilization and barbarism.
The big question now is whether Hamas will bite, right? Trump's envoy for hostage response says it's in Hamas's interest to take this deal.
I want Khalid Mashal, as he's listening right now, the leader of Hamas, I want him to listen and hear that he was just offered something by two world leaders, two of the greatest world leaders, and we're all not just one nation under God, but we're one world under God. And Khalid has an opportunity to be great himself. And I believe that he will take the President of the United States, he's the only person in the world that could offer this, that he will take it and he will accept it. And to Peter's question, there is no negotiation. That's it. Everyone wins here.
We'll see what Hamas does next. But for now, let's shift gears to a tragedy unfolding in Grand Blanc, Michigan, where deadly shooting and fire at a Mormon church has claimed 4 lives, 5 including the shooter, with 8 others injured. Now, police say everybody's accounted for. They haven't combed through the entire church yet, but they say everybody who was in attendance has been accounted for. And get this, an individual was arrested today for breaching barricades at the scene.
Yes, there was an incident out there. We are still in the process of investigating that incident, whether or not it's related or not. I could tell you that we do have a 21-year-old person in custody for that incident right now.
That suspect's car appears to have a long gun in the front seat. You can see, according to these photos, it is not clear at this time the charges that he is facing. As for the suspect involved in yesterday's shooting, he's been previously arrested by law enforcement, once for burglary and another for driving a vehicle while intoxicated. I'm also able to confirm at this hour that 3 improvised explosive devices were found at the scene. There's been no information released, at least as of yet, as to what the possible motive may be. I'll continue to watch out for those developments. In the meantime, let's move to this.
Charlie's show became the North Star for freedom of speech. I gave assurance to people that Turning Point USA is continuing, and it is. I mean, we are so blessed to have more work than we even could ever dream of. The Charlie Kirk show is not going anywhere. My husband's voice will live on.
Erica Kirk there vowing to keep her late husband Charlie's legacy alive while the alleged assassin appeared virtually in court today.
In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that it be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
This individual isn't just facing a slap on the wrist. I mean, he's staring down aggravated murder charges, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious injury, 2 counts of obstruction of justice, 2 counts of witness tampering, and committing a violent offense in front of a child. Now, here's the big question. Can the defense actually get the death penalty off the table?
First, they're going to try to attack it legally, make some arguments to the judge about the death penalty itself, whether or not it's cruel and unusual punishment, whether or not it should apply to this type of a case. From a factual basis, I think they'll even try to challenge it when it comes to that main charge, the aggravated murder charge. The reason that charge is eligible for the death penalty is because of an aggravating circumstance. If they're able to call into question the aggravating circumstance, in this case being the idea that at the time of the murder, other people's lives were put in danger, if they're able to challenge that, and that is not held to answer by the judge at a preliminary hearing, then they can take the death penalty off the table.
That's probably not the news the friends and family of Charlie were hoping to hear, but let's be clear. The odds of the defense pulling this off are absolutely slim. Why? Because of the vast number of people in the vicinity of where the shooting occurred.
There were people to his left, right, behind him, a crowd of people in front of him. That by itself, I think, is enough, certainly for the hurdle of a preliminary hearing, but I think it's even convincing to a jury. They're going to hear about how this person was committed amongst a crowd of people, and I imagine a jury will hold that aggravating circumstance, find him guilty of it.
The next court case, again, is set for October 30th. It'll start at 10 a.m., and the accused person is expected to be in person for that one. Now, while that case plays out, another storm is brewing in Washington. We're just hours away from a government shutdown. And let's be honest, this is political theater at its worst. Democrats are holding the American people hostage, demanding another $1 trillion for their radical wish list. Everything from transgender surgeries for minors to taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. And before we dive into today's left-wing lunacy, it's worth reminding everyone of the Democrats' not-so-distant hypocrisy on government shutdowns.
Government shutdown of any duration would harm hardworking Americans and our economy.
Why should we ask TSA officers to go without their hard-earned pay while they protect our airports?
I'm a senator from Virginia. Some of the hardest effects of shutdown will be seen in my state.
If the government shuts down, it will be average Americans who suffer most.
Some who right now are trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent, how they're going to make mortgage payments, how they're going to keep college payments going, how they're going to keep the lights on, how they're going to keep food on the table.
Had the government shut down, hundreds of thousands of people would have not gotten their paychecks.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. There is 2 more minutes of tape of that same sanctimonious drivel, but I'm going to spare you the agony. Now, speaking of hypocrites, Democrat Representative Eric Swalwell, again, couldn't resist dusting off his tyranny talking points about the potential shutdown. After all, theatrics are all the Democrats seem to have these days.
You're facing, at this moment, you're either going to fund the government as is, talk about the healthcare subsidies later, or the government's going to be shut down. Which option are you most comfortable with?
I'm not comfortable with this Republican tyrannical government. So I'm not co-signing on that, Kate, and I don't think anyone should. Now, if they are, going to, as I said, change their deportation policy and not get rid of innocent Americans who are contributing to our economy, if they're going to lower health care costs and not get rid of the subsidies and Medicare cuts that they put in place, and if they are going to as I referred to earlier, put back in place cancer research, as 40% of Americans are going to find out this year that they have a cancer diagnosis, I would sign off on that.
So Democrats want open borders, no deportations, healthcare for illegals, and they're somehow convincing themselves that cancer research has ground to a halt, despite the data saying otherwise. I dug into it this morning, and the facts don't lie. Cancer research has not come to an end. Now, the two sides met today, and let's just say they both walked out with very different viewpoints as to how the meeting went. Let's start with the Democrats.
I don't know if he knew this before, but the fact that people will pay $4,000 more a year, $400 more a month, close to $5,000 more a year on their health care premiums if we don't do anything. And people don't know what to do. The average working family can't afford that. I told him how I met a mother who was crying to me because her daughter had cancer. And what has happened with health care, with what they have done, she's going to watch her daughter suffer and maybe die. And so he seemed to, for the first time, understand the magnitude of this crisis.
Am I the only one skeptical of Schumer's story? Because I feel like he makes these up just to fit whatever narrative he's telling that day. Maybe I'm wrong, just a gut feeling I have. Okay, let's see how Republicans are reacting to the meeting. Vastly different. Watch this.
You will hear a lot from Senate Democrats, from House Democrats about the fact that American healthcare policy is broken. Well, we know that American healthcare policy is broken. We've been trying to fix it for the 8 months that we've been in office, but every single thing that they accuse about being broken about American healthcare is policy the Democrats have supported for the past decade. So if they want to talk about how to fix American healthcare policy, let's do it. The Speaker would love to do it. The Senate Majority Leader would love to do it. Let's work on it together. But let's do it in the context of an open government that's providing essential services to the American people. That's all that we're proposing to do. And the fact that they refuse to do that shows how unreasonable their position is. I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing. I hope they change their mind, but we're going to see.
Finally, Republicans that can articulate the lies that the Democrats are trying to spill onto the Republicans. Now, that wasn't the only point the vice president made. Watch this one.
If you look at the original thing they did with this negotiation, it was a $1.5 trillion spending package, basically saying to the American people, we want to give massive amounts of money, hundreds of billions of dollars to illegal aliens for their health care, while Americans are struggling to pay their health care bills. That was their initial foray into this negotiation. We thought it was absurd. We told them it was absurd, and now they come in here saying that if you don't give us everything that we want, we're going to shut down the government. We think that's preposterous. We think it's totally unacceptable, and we think the American people are going to suffer because these guys won't do the right thing.
The American people want nothing to do with their radical left policies, and it's about time the Republicans hold the line and refuse to be bullied. We'll see where these talks land tomorrow. Now, speaking of the crazy left, let's talk about another case of Trump derangement syndrome that has reached epidemic proportions. Even after fleeing the country, Rosie O'Donnell's still obsessed, and it's so bad, her therapist is questioning her sanity.
When the Medicaid cuts go in, old people are going to start to die. To die. What he's done yet hasn't even hit us yet. Right. And if he's not stopped now, we have lost our country. And I don't know, Nicole, how it is that some people cannot see it. My therapist said, why are you so upset? And I said to her, why are you not?
Rosie is so deep in her Trump-induced spiral that even her shrink is side-eyeing her. And if Medicaid cuts are the end of the world, why are Democrats pushing for health care for illegals instead of focusing on American seniors? Anybody think about that? And as for Rosie's therapist, maybe she should just bill Trump for the overtime. I mean, talk about a case of selective outrage. Democrats cry wolf over shutdowns while plotting to fund every radical cause under the sun. So wake up, America. The real threat isn't a shutdown, it's their agenda. Now up next, you have got to see this, an absolutely jaw-dropping moment on CNN where even a Democrat-heavy panel was left speechless after a bombshell about James Comey's indictment. Plus, wait until you catch what just happened on MSNBC. It's gonna leave you scratching your head wondering if they even hear themselves over there. And in New York City, a full-blown political earthquake that could shake the entire establishment. For all those details, click on the video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.